righty, welcome back for another episode of Two Point Sports. Today we are joined by Nigel Smith out of Melissa, Texas. Nigel, how are you doing?
Doing great, doing great.
Good. Well, we appreciate you hopping on. So today's episode, we're going to be interviewing Nigel, talking everything about his high school upcoming high school season, his recruiting process, where Oklahoma stands and other schools stand, and just get to know Nigel more. And then be sure to leave any comments or anything like that, and maybe we can answer those at the end of the video. We can comment back on the video. So let's get into it. So my first question for you, Nigel, is how are you guys ready for the upcoming season? How are you preparing for your senior season? Where does Melissa stand right now as far as your high school year?
Really, it's just that off-season grind right now. We return a lot of our offensive guys, all of our really good receivers. We turn our quarterback, which was kind of a problem. We every year since my freshman year, it was always a new quarterback. So it's kind of a rough start in the season every year because the new quarterback getting used to just the offense, getting chemistry with the receivers and other players. And so now that we have a varsity starter returning for once, I think it'll definitely help a lot. And all those receivers, he has great chemistry with those guys. We're lacking a little defensively. We kind of graduated some of our guys that really helped us. Jacob Fields, Caleb Alewski, Jason Cave, a couple other of those guys that were big roles in our defense. So we'll need some guys to help step up. And but I think as long as we maybe get a couple move-ins, maybe like one or two DBs and a linebacker, I think we'll be really good.
So high school, you've obviously excelled. You're one of the best players in the country, especially at your position. Do you feel like you're pretty much like, if you were to be put on a college roster today, you think you'd be ready to compete with guys that are at least supposed to be a little bit bigger than you, maybe faster than you? Because like I said, you've already excelled at the high school level. What do you expect of yourself once you get to college?
Now, if I was to be put on a college roster today, I don't think I would do too well. I'm not going to lie. I think it'd take a little adjusting, but given that I'm graduating early, I think that adjustment for spring ball and things like that will give me a lot of time getting up to just that college football speed. It's a whole different ball game. And I'm not going to say I'm going to dominate if I was put on a roster now. I think I would still make a couple plays when it comes to my freshman year, now that I've adjusted throughout all of spring ball, and I get to see what these guys are like, what these O-linemen wherever I go are like, and just battle it out with them. Hopefully, I'm going against some of the best in the country. And I think no matter where I go, that I'm a pretty versatile player, and I'll be making plays as a freshman, and just keep going from there, growing.
Like Jose said, you've dominated the high school football game. Looking at your numbers, I mean, your junior and sophomore season had well over double-digit sacks, double-digit tackles for loss, forced some fumbles, scoring touchdowns, all sorts of stuff. But what stood out to me watching your tape is you played, at least in high school, kind of all over the defensive line, maybe mostly at edge, but you lined up everywhere. Is that something that you're willing to do at the college level too, or when you get to college, do you want to kind of hone in on one position and kind of perfect your craft at it?
I think the best part of making people like draft ready and prepared for the NFL is being versatile players. So I think that me being able to play every position throughout the D line, kind of like how JJ Watt did in the league. That dude was able to play wide nine all the way down to a head up. Like he was doing it all. He would just go down the line. And I think that really helps us, and just our team and our defense. I really think that helps. And I think when I get to college, though, I'm being recruited to play defensive end, so 5'6". And I think I'll be able to play a little 3-tech, go inside for that 3-tech a little bit, and because I do enjoy playing that, but I'm still being recruited to play that defensive end position. So I'm gonna hone that first, and then wherever I go, the D-line coach will help me be more versatile in everywhere.
And talking about your sophomore and junior season, when would you say your recruiting really started to pick up? Did you have a summer, maybe going into the fall of your junior year, or when did it really start to blow up? Because according to 247 Sports, you currently hold 36 offers, and I don't know if that's right or not, but you hold a ton of offers. When did it really explode? I feel like I mean, obviously you're rated really high at this point.
So my recruitment started like back. I was blessed for it to start early, my freshman year. I got my first offer right around that springtime of my freshman year. Notre Dame and a couple other schools just hopped on, and but it really started to explode. I would say I probably had double digit offers, and like it once spring ball rolled around, that's when colleges are able to come see me. They're able to see I'm actually how big I am. They're able to come watch me practice. I'm able to bend, move. I'm explosive, and I think they're them coming to a practice. I just kept getting offers after that. Everything started to amp up, and I mean that spring ball was definitely a big part of my just being a good player. I'm really glad we got to do that my sophomore year, just bumping being able to go to spring ball, and I think that was a big piece of my recruitment.
So talking about a specific offer, we cover OU. How has the relationship, I guess, been built, especially with Todd Bates being there? I can't remember if he offered you, early on, like you said, as early as Notre Dame. Did you get a Clemson offer when he was still over there, or has the relationship mainly been while he's been at OU?
Who I talked to Coach Bates a good amount, but who I talked to a lot is Coach Chavis. He's a DN coach there, and he's the one who recruited me, and he's the one who had offered me when they first got to OU. I was like one of their first guys that they offered. I remember him talking about that. He came down to see me. Coach Chave came down to see me at a practice, and then it was during. No, he came down to see me. I think last year January or so, and I remember he met me, got to talk to him for a while, and he called me later on that day when I was at a basketball team dinner, and he offered me. I've got to amp up my recruitment with him, and I mean he's a great guy. I enjoy talking to him. I think he's a great young D line coach, and things could go well with him.
Yeah, so something that I like to ask players when they're coming on the show. You're obviously a defensive lineman, so looking at this 24 class, Oklahoma, we're in the running for a couple real big name defensive linemen. You've got yourself, David Stone, Williams Nwaneri. How often, if at all, are you in contact with those guys? And is that something that you recruits kind of like? Do you guys talk about teaming up, whether it be at Oklahoma or anywhere else?
We've talked about it a little bit. I mean, David Stone, he's talked to me a little bit when we were down at. I've seen him. I seen him when I was down at A&M, I think one time, and then we talked a bit when I think we were down at OU at the same time for a visit. Talked a little bit about things, just where recruitment is at for both of us, and then Williams. I mean, I've actually been on a lot of different visits with him, seen him at multiple different places. Oregon, when I went down there, OU a couple times, and I mean, we've got to talk a little bit of recruitment. I mean, he is a great defensive lineman, so it'd be great to team up with him. But I don't really we don't really like text or anything. We just talk when we're on the visit together, and just go from there.
Makes sense. So it seems like, just based off of your 247 profile and Instagram and Twitter and all that, it seems like Ohio State, you enjoy Ohio State and maybe A&M as well. Obviously Larry Johnson with Ohio State is quite a coach. Do you plan on, how are the Buckeyes faring in this recruitment? Are you planning on going to see them again? Or who are the big three, big four? Do you have a top five, I guess, of other schools and where you stand with everyone?
I'm kind of down to around 8 schools right about now. I'm gonna drop that here in a couple of weeks. But I'll tell you, Ohio State is definitely on that. I really enjoy going down there. Coach Day, Coach Johnson. I mean, his name speaks for itself, obviously. So I don't plan on making a visit down there in the spring just because I've been down there a pretty solid amount of times, and there's not much else I need to see. I know where Ohio State stands with me and my recruitment. I'll probably be down there over the summer, so take a visit over the summer, possibly a OV down there, and just go from there.
How hard is it to start cutting that list down? I'm sure you're probably having to make calls to some coaches that have been recruiting you for a year or two where you're just saying, hey, like, I think I'm moving on to different opportunities, but thank you. Is that a difficult thing that you've had to go through so far? Like you're down to 8. I'm sure that's a big gap between 8 and 30 plus offers that you've had over your 2.5 year high school career.
It is tough. I can't lie to you. I mean, some of these coaches I have talked to a good amount and built some real good relationships with, but I do hate that text. Like sometimes there'll be a text just I'll hop on a call with them and let them know that just wanted to go separate ways. It is a tough thing because I mean a lot of these guys are just great, easy to talk to coaches, and I think would be a real good D line coach. It's just I built better relationships with these other schools, and maybe some of them like had just been a part of a new staff at a school, and they just hopped on the recruitment when they got there, and it was just a little too late. But it is definitely a tough spot.
Yeah, so throughout this recruiting process, you still got some time. How often if at all, do like current players, like so for Oklahoma, do you talk to current Sooners or past Sooners about their experience at OU and maybe they try to help recruit you, or the same thing for Ohio State, or whatever? Do these current players on these big time programs throughout the season try to talk to you about coming to their school?
Yes, sir. I've talked to a couple players. OU last time I went down, I got to talk to what's his name? I'm trying to remember their names. There's number 8 on y'all's team. He's a DN.
Jonah Lalalu.
Yes, sir. I got to talk to him for a good minute. Talk to him about Coach Chavis and because I mean he's right around my size, and they see me kind of playing that end like that. But I got to talk to him, and he told me really good things. It's actually funny. Brendan Walker, my barber is Brendan Walker's my barber's nephew. So when I went down for one of the first times, I got to talk to him, and I mean it was I think a junior day, but we talked. We went out and talked for probably 30, 45 minutes about just how OU was in the past with Lincoln Riley there, and how much things have changed with Coach Venables, just the feel of the whole place, the atmosphere, and how just the mentality for OU had changed when those coaches got there. So I mean, I've got to talk to him a lot. I mean, we text every once in a while. There's a couple players that from some other schools as well, but I mean, I've got to talk to 2 other Oklahoma players. One was a early enrollee that goes there, a D lineman, and then another D lineman as well. But I mean, it is great getting to talk to them because they keep it real. I get to see how these coaches really are. I ask them questions, how they are when things get tough, how they are when you're having a bad practice, or just in general on a regular daily basis. So I get to see if coaches are just putting on a show, things like that, and I think that OU does a good job with not being fake, and how they are is how they are with their players, and a couple other schools as well.
And talking about OU and other schools, you're from Melissa, Texas, which is just north of the DFW area, and it's not far from Norman. Does distance factor into your decision? Obviously, it'd probably be nice to have your family just a couple hours away. Or is it at the end of the day you're going to go wherever you feel like you're going to be most developed and put in the best place to succeed? Or would you prefer to maybe go to College Station or go to Norman or go stay somewhat close?
Distance honestly does not play a factor in my recruitment. I want to go where I feel I'll be developed the best and put in the best position to succeed and to learn not only things about football but just grow as a young man, grow my mind for business and things like that. So I mean, I'll go up to Pennsylvania and play for Penn State. I'll go to Ohio State. I'll go. I mean, I could stay close to home. It's where I feel I'll be developed the best. And I mean, nowadays with NIL, these teams are making it real easy for you not to get homesick. I mean, every home game, a lot of these teams are paying for have things set up to where your parents are able to come to every home game. They have room and board like Airbnbs and things set up to where now players' families are able to stay in a hotel or an Airbnb when they come to a game and things like that. So I think NIL has definitely helped with that aspect and made it easier for players to go far away from homes, made it easier for parents to let their little boys go anywhere across the country.
Hey, Jose, you're muted.
There we go. What are some of the biggest things that have stood out with Oklahoma, with Ohio State, with the other schools that you're really looking at?
My biggest things that I see with these guys are they're real genuine people. It's also the history with them developing guys. I mean, at Ohio State, Chase Young, the Bosa brothers, people like that. They just have a great history of developing great athletes. Penn State, their defense is just perfect for a DN. I mean, they're just attack defensive linemen. They develop those guys, play that strong side five, and just you're able to get after it. OU, those guys have a great history of developing those players that they had at Clemson. I mean, they told me they were like one of two coaches to have 3 first-round draft picks for D linemen in one year, and it's about to happen twice. So they'll be the only ones who have ever done that. They're spitting guys out in the league and Clemson, and that just, I mean, they were getting some really good recruits because they are good recruiters, but a lot of that was just development. So that shows that they develop their guys, turn them into first-round draft picks, and that's what they can do at Oklahoma. I mean, they're about to turn up, and I mean, A&M, strong side DN. That's where they're recruiting me to play there, and I mean, shoot, Myles Garrett, a couple other players that Coach Price has developed and just put into the league. He's put just JUCO players and to turn them into 3rd-round draft picks and things like that. So I mean, these D-line coaches have a very, very good history of just developing their guys and growing them. So I think that is very, very good.
Yeah, so with Oklahoma specifically, I'm sure you're aware, the team is transitioning to the SEC by 2024, or I think it's next season. Yeah, is that something that goes into your decision when you're considering Oklahoma, the opportunity to go from the Big 12 kind of to, the best conference in college football? I think you'll be more national exposure. You'll have more, TV time, if you will. You'll be able to see some really cool stadiums play against the best in college football. That's a big jump from the Big 12. Is that something that gets you excited and something that you factor into your decision making process?
I would say it does. I mean, I love competition. Getting to play against these guys that are the best in the country. I mean, people always say SEC is the best football, so just to get to go against these guys and just prove yourself. UT and OU going to the SEC will just be very big time in recruiting as a whole. A lot of those guys say they want to play SEC ball and kind of shy away from the Big 12 because I mean it's not the SEC. So I think that definitely does help.
Did you end up going to the junior day? What was it, last weekend or so? Did you go up to Norman?
No, sir. I was down in
No.
Texas.
Okay. Yeah, I was just wondering. So I assume you've been on campus in Oklahoma probably a handful of times. Where do you plan on coming up for the spring game? Are there any planned unofficials, or is it just kind of as the week comes up, depending on your schedule, you might be able to make it? Do you have any planned visits for Oklahoma?
Probably just as the week comes up. I mean, I talked to Mr. Brandon Drummond the other day. I didn't know our spring game was April 22nd, I think. It's just I have a couple visits coming up that like 4 weeks back to back to back to back. And I mean, just depending on how my family's feeling travel wise, what I have going on, I might make it to a spring game, but I'm honestly not sure. Might just save it for a summer visit, go down there and possibly take a OV.
So my last question is just about the overall recruiting, you know, process for you. Like you said, it was tough cutting it down to the amount of schools that you're drop your top 8 here in a couple weeks. What's the entire experience been like? Because you've got to travel really all around the country to see some of the best programs in college football.
I think it was really really good and helpful getting to go to these places. Sometimes going down one time is just a big show, and the more and more you go down, the less and less they have to show you. So you start to feel if you can actually see yourself being there. Does it like does the show kind of shy away and you kind of lose the fun aspect of the visit, or are you able to actually enjoy being around those coaches? Are you able to talk to them and like can you see yourself actually being there? Because when you get there, it's not just going to be that little show that they put on. It'll be you with those coaches serious, and I mean there'll be some jokes, but if you can actually see yourself with those guys when they're not just showing you around campus and things like that, is why I've taken multiple visits to the schools that I've liked.
Yeah, I'll finish up too with a question I asked all the recruitees that come on the show. So you mentioned JJ Watt earlier and his ability or what he's done in the NFL. Obviously, great career, bounced around all every position on the D line, very versatile player. So is JJ Watt somebody that you'd say you try to model your game after, or is there somebody in the league, or maybe a great college football player that you kind of try to emulate in your game?
I do like JJ Watt, but one of my favorite players in the league is Miles Garrett. I love his game. I love his athleticism and things like that. So I try to kind of model my game after him. Sadly, we don't have that 4-man front defense at my high school, but I love his game, and I love the Bosa brothers. I love how they play, and just both of their games are different, but also a lot alike. So I love their game and love their pass rush. They're both very powerful in their pass rush. Have a strong long arm, have a strong bull rush, and are also able to turn that edge very well. But I love both of their games. I'll say those are probably my favorite players in the league.
And my final question, talking in general overall, what is your general timeline? Are you planning to take OVs in the summer and commit before your senior season starts? Or, you said you're going to be an early enrollee. Will you maybe take it towards Thanksgiving as far as making a decision? Just curious where you think you might end up making a decision.
So I wanted to try and commit first game of the season, but I might go ahead and take 3 officials during the summer, and then possibly those take 2 during the school year, the football season, and then maybe commit third or fourth game of the season right before district starts up, and just get to enjoy that.
Nice. All right. Well, that's all we've got. And Nigel, again, I just wanted to say we really appreciate you coming on. It was a great talk, and maybe we can have you on as you go into your senior season or anything like that, and we can just check in and how you're doing and everything.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for having me.
Yeah, so be sure if you made it this far, like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Apple, Spotify, and TikTok. Everything's linked in the description below. And be sure to go follow Nigel on all his socials. We'll put his social media handles in our description as well, and go show him some love on there. So again, we'll be back and we'll see you guys Wednesday.